Randy Post, Superintendent of Boone County Schools. First of all, I want to take the opportunity to thank you all for giving me a few minutes of your time today to listen. I also want to applaud Ron Hardman and the teachers and the great people that were here before. Nothing that I'm going to talk about, reflects poorly on any of them. I think that what we first started and what I want to say is that I'm all for parent empowerment in schools. And I think that, as Senator Schickel has pointed out, is when we first passed this legislation, it was a great opportunity for parental buy-in in our public schools. And it has achieved that objective. But like any particular good legislation, it has to be modified over time because of various interpretations of the legislation over time. It's been 20 plus years ago since the ruling of Boone County versus Boucher that the courts had interpreted that boards do not have any power or authority whatsoever over site-based councils. And that was the first issue that was created. There's some instances across Kentucky that have removed school boards from taking any particular interest in site-based councils because they're unsure of what their proper roles and responsibilities are. This has driven up costs and has limited resource optimizations within districts that taxpayers cannot understand when they come to a board meeting. It's also brought into question textbook selections and other district curriculum not being followed by one school within miles of another school when you have a high transient rate between those schools. Some of those reasons have been for good reasons, but others are simply not for good reasons. In addition, boards and superintendents are constantly spending additional tax dollars for legal advice because they're not clear-cut rules on the total responsibilities because there are gray areas. I'll give you an example of that. Just this particular week, in our district, OEA has ruled that we usurp the authority of the site-based council, the superintendent did, and the board, when in fact the site-based council and the board were in total agreement of what we were doing. The site-based council trainer, state trainer, told us exactly what to do. Kentucky Department of Education told us exactly what to do. And our school board attorney told us what to do, and we were all in agreement. Only to have OEA, one person in OEA, tell us that we were wrong and require training of the principal and the superintendent when in fact the council and the board were in total agreement with each other. So, as I said, 20 plus years ago, Boone County versus Boucher set out and said we do not have any of that particular authority. So I applaud Senator Schickel in starting this conversation that something needs to be done. We have parents, taxpayers, and employees not knowing where they stand, only to be told that we are incorrect when we're in agreement with each other. So I'm not here telling you what you need to do, but I do tell you that something needs to be done. In the end, there needs to be a balance of members of parental involvement and engagement. You need to have the board, who's elected by the taxpayer, being the final appeal in an appeal situation so that it is not done on the state level and being told to a district when the district is in agreement on how to act and follows exactly what is put out by the state on school board policies and school councils, clearly under instructional materials and available funds. But when there's a conflict, and there are conflicts between boards and SBDMs, somebody clearly needs to be in charge of the final decision making and not OEA that has no weigh-in within the district who also does not investigate and take depositions from everybody in the district on a particular action. So I applaud you for listening and starting the conversation. Nowhere in my testimony do I say which way should you go, but I applaud Senator Schickel in saying that something has to be done, whether they're in full agreement, and at the end, that the Board of Education gets the final say because they're the ones who are actually accountable to the taxpayer for that decision. Thank you.